After I had a fight with my mom, my best friend, Chloe Miller, urged me to move out and went out of her way to help me find a place. I moved in and lived there for 6 months before I fell seriously ill and died. After I died, I found out that the house had been renovated with toxic materials and that Chloe was actually my dad's illegitimate daughter. It was all about the money. I was reborn to the day Chloe took me to see the apartment. I thought to myself, Livy, I can't let her get away with this again. Look how nicely this apartment is decorated. It's exactly your style, Chloe Miller pleaded, sounding more enthusiastic than a real estate agent. The price isn't bad, and it's close to where I live. Why don't we just rent it? I glanced around the room, which was familiar yet cheaply decorated, and sneered inwardly. In my previous life, I must have been blind not to have noticed the poor quality materials, yet I still moved in. After moving in, I quickly discovered the issues. Chloe kept brainwashing me. They probably just used lower quality materials, but they wouldn't dare rent it out if it wasn't safe. Let's buy a formaldehyde tester and check it out. Don't worry, everyone else is living here just fine. Look how close we are now. Shopping is so convenient. You won't have to listen to your mom nag you anymore. How free we'll be. Later, I still wasn't reassured, so Chloe bought a formaldehyde tester and tested it in front of me. Of course, the result was no problem. At one point, I considered moving, but since I was busy with work, I asked Chloe for help. She either claimed to be too busy or said there were no suitable options, and eventually, I dropped the matter. 6 months later, I felt unwell and went to the hospital for a checkup. I was diagnosed with leukemia accompanied by multi-organ failure of the liver and kidneys. At that moment, my world collapsed. I couldn't understand why I had suddenly developed such a serious illness at such a young age. Seeing that I hadn't said a word and had quietly moved toward the door, Chloe panicked. She pushed me and said, Livy, say something. Are you so happy you've gone crazy? I furrowed my brows, avoided her gaze, and turned to leave. I'm not renting it. Chloe grabbed me by the arm. Livy, what are you doing? I finally found a great apartment, and you just want to leave? You can't throw a tantrum like this. Her voice was sharp with urgency. I stopped in my tracks, turned to face her, and wondered how far she would take this. My palms itched to teach her a lesson, but I needed a proper excuse. Seeing that I wasn't leaving, Chloe's face lit up again. She turned back to the real estate agent inside the apartment. We'll take this one. Let's sign the contract. The agent looked at me, then at her, and finally nodded. The two of them began discussing the rent payment schedule and contract terms. I stood there with my arms crossed, watching. After they finished, Chloe pointed at me and said, She'll pay. The agent walked toward me, hesitating. I sneered and said, Did I ever say I wanted to rent it? It's clearly her who wants to rent it. Why should I pay? The agent was stunned and turned to look at Chloe. She stormed over, furious. Livy, what's wrong with you today? You're acting weird. Hurry up and pay the rent and deposit. Don't you have the money? I'll lend it to you. I pushed her away. You wanted to rent the place, so you pay for it. I never said I wanted to rent it, so I'm not paying. The agent got angry, too. Are the two of you just playing me? Chloe's face turned pale. Livy, what are you doing? You asked me to help you find a place. I went through so much trouble to find such a good place, and now you're saying you don't want to rent it? Have you even considered my feelings? The agent also turned her accusing gaze toward me. I smiled and suggested, If you want me to rent it, you can move in with me. Chloe's eyes darted around, and she replied evasively, I have my own place to live. Why would I want to share with you? I'm not going. You can live alone. I narrowed my eyes and slapped her. You won't even live in this place yourself. And you want me to? I didn't stop there, landing a few more slaps. When I saw her cheeks swell up, I finally stopped. The real estate agent tried to pull me back, but I stepped away and pointed out the shoddy renovation work. The renovation is so cheap. Who knows what materials they used? Chloe Miller, do you really think I don't know what toxic renovation means? I think you're trying to kill me. You're lying. Chloe and the real estate agent shouted at the same time. I sneered. Do you dare let me hire a professional agency to inspect it? Chloe remained silent. The agent smiled awkwardly and said, Young lady, don't say such things. Come on, you two. Stop arguing. I can tell you haven't decided yet. Come back when you've made up your minds. I have another appointment to keep. I turned and left without looking back, heading straight home. In my previous life, after I fell seriously ill, I had intended to keep it a secret from my mother. fearing she would be heartbroken. However, Chloe turned around and called my mother, claiming it was for my own good. She said, "Livy, don't be so stubborn. How can you hide such a serious illness? It's better to tell your family sooner so your parents can take you to a good hospital for proper treatment." When she made the call, my mother was driving. Upon hearing the news, she panicked, causing a car accident in which she sustained severe injuries. She was paralyzed and died 6 months later. Less than a month after my mom and I died, my dad brought a woman home. She inherited all of my mom's property and started living a life of extravagance. Chloe started calling that woman Mom. That's when I found out that she was my dad's illegitimate daughter from his first love. When I got home, I saw that my mom was still angry and teary-eyed because I had wanted to move out. I threw myself into her arms and cried my heart out. She was so scared, thinking that something terrible had happened, that she forgot all about my running away. While I was cuddling with my mom, my dad, Howard, returned with a grim expression. He frowned at me and scolded, "Aren't you the one who wanted to move out because you think you're all grown up? What are you doing back here?" My father wasn't like this in my previous life. When he found out I wanted to move out back then, he was all smiles. He secretly slipped me some money and said, "Going out to gain some experience is good. Your father supports you. If you need money, just ask your father. I'll give it to you." He even tried to convince my mom, "Children grow up and need to experience the world. You can't keep them sheltered forever." At the time, I was grateful to him, but later, when I saw him living in our house and fawning over another woman, I felt sick to my stomach. Before I could say anything, my mother shielded me behind her. "What are you saying? Isn't it good that the child has come back? Do you want to drive my daughter away again?" Facing my mother's anger, my father softened his expression. I just saw how bold she was last night." My mother's expression also softened. "Enough, go cook dinner. I'll talk to my daughter for a while." Before dinner was ready, Chloe came over with a swollen face. My father opened the door. As soon as he saw her, he exploded. "Chloe, what happened to you? Why is your face like this?" Chloe stood at the door, sobbing softly. "Uncle, I really didn't know it was a toxic renovated house. I only found out what that meant today. Please tell Livy. I really didn't mean to." My father's face darkened. "Chloe, are you saying this was done by Livy?" Chloe looked like she wanted to say something but couldn't. Some neighbors heard the commotion and started peeking out to see what was happening. My mom said coldly, "If you have something to say, come inside." It seemed as if my dad had only then remembered to tell Chloe to come inside. As soon as Chloe saw my mom, she started crying harder. "Auntie, I really didn't mean it. Livy, hit me a few more times. I really didn't mean it. If I had known it was a toxic renovated house, I would never have taken you there. After all these years, don't you know me at all?" My mom's expression grew even more serious. "If you can't speak properly, just shut up. You've been talking for ages and haven't explained anything. Livy, tell us what happened." My mom had never really liked Chloe, but she had always been polite to her out of respect for me. I then explained everything that had happened earlier in a clear and organized manner. My dad angrily said, "Livy, is this how I raised you? You haven't even figured out the situation yet, and you're already taking it out on the people around you. You're so spoiled. I'm going to beat you today and teach you a lesson." With that, he grabbed the broom in the corner, ready to hit me with it. My mom stepped in front of him. "Howard Miller, you're not satisfied with being a bully outside? Now you're taking it out on me and our daughter at home?" I felt a warm glow in my heart. "Dad, I haven't finished yet. She schemed to make me rent that apartment." I didn't say anything, but she went to the real estate agent herself to sign the contract. Then, I asked her to move in with me, but she refused. Do you think I'm stupid? She doesn't even dare to live there herself, yet she keeps urging me to move in. There must be a problem. Most of the apartments in that neighborhood are toxic renovated units. I recently heard about it, but I never thought Chloe Miller would be so heartless. Chloe looked terrified. "Uncle, Auntie, I really didn't know. I didn't mean to." My dad put down the broom and said unhappily, "Chloe already said she didn't mean to. Why are you still harping on this?" My mom frowned and said, "Howard, what do you mean? Are you blaming your own daughter?" I started crying, too. "Dad, why are you always taking her side? Is she your daughter, or am I? Do you want me to live in that house, get sick, and die just to make you happy?" My dad's face stiffened. "You're such a child, saying such nonsense. You're just making a big deal out of nothing. After all, you didn't rent that house, did you? Besides, Chloe definitely didn't mean it. You've been good friends for so many years. Seeing my father keep giving Chloe meaningful glances, her face turned pale and she suddenly knelt on the ground. Aunt Livy, I'm kneeling before you, bowing my head in apology. I really didn't mean it. After all these years of friendship with Livy, how could I possibly harm her? Wah. She really tried to kowtow. Chloe wasn't the type to lose face so easily. I immediately grew wary, stepped forward, and pulled her up forcefully. Chloe Miller, what are you doing? It's like we're forcing you. I don't care if you did it on purpose or not. Our relationship is over. I already scolded you today, so let's just forget about it. We don't need to see each other anymore. Just go. After all, she hadn't done anything illegal, so there wasn't much else I could do. If I wanted revenge, I'd have to plan it carefully. Chloe probably visited to show my dad her injuries and win his sympathy. That also gave me an excuse to stir the pot in front of my mom. That night, I acted spoiled and asked my mom to sleep with me. Though she looked disgusted, she agreed. Lying in bed, I hugged her arm and asked in a puzzled tone, Mom, why was Dad acting so strange today? He kept defending Chloe as if she were his own daughter. My mom slapped my head. You're just noticing that now? I've told you so many times before, but you never listened. I was shocked. Had my mom already noticed that something was off but not said anything? I closed my eyes. Using this to arouse my mom's suspicion didn't seem like it would work. If I mentioned it to her now, she wouldn't believe me. I had to let her see it for herself. Tomorrow was Friday, and it was Chloe's birthday. I had an idea. Then, I remembered Chloe's unusual behavior that afternoon, and I had another idea. I recalled that, when I was seriously ill in my previous life, I had discovered that Chloe had become somewhat famous on TikTok. At the time, she put on a good show for me and my online followers, reaping the benefits of my suffering. Could she already be an influencer now? Had she secretly recorded the staged scenes from this afternoon to take out of context and use against me and my mom online? Thinking about this possibility, I couldn't sleep. I quickly got up and sent a message to my cousin, explaining the situation and asking him to monitor the situation online. Amid my mother's dissatisfied mutterings, I got back into bed and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, my father said he would be busy and wouldn't be back for lunch. My mother didn't seem to mind. Since my grandparents passed away and my father took over my grandfather's business, my mother hasn't been involved in the company's affairs. In her words, what's there to manage in such a small company? Let him handle it if he wants to. Men should always have something to do. I was suddenly inspired to show off my cooking skills and prepare a heartfelt lunch for my father. I was rude to him yesterday, so this is my way of apologizing. Mom, after we deliver lunch to Dad, let's go out to eat, and then go shopping at the mall. My mom tapped my nose. The last part is your real motive, isn't it? I didn't argue, just polling her playfully. In the end, she agreed. I didn't put much effort into cooking because it was all going to end up in the trash anyway. What? Howard didn't come to the office today? My mom furrowed her brows, and I could feel her eyes blazing, though she remained calm on the surface. The receptionist didn't recognize us and didn't even bother to look up. Isn't it unusual for Mr. Miller not to come in? You shouldn't be blocking the entrance. If you have any business, please come back tomorrow. Mr. Miller won't be coming to the office today. My mom reached for her phone to call my dad, but I quickly pressed her fingers down and pulled her out of the building. Mom, something's wrong with Dad. You can ask him, but don't tip him off. She took a deep breath, nodded at me, and dialed the number. Howard, where are you? I'm at the office. Where else would I be? Have you guys eaten yet? Before my mom could speak, I chimed in with a smile. We haven't eaten yet. Dad, why don't we come over to your office and have dinner together as a family? It's been ages since we ate out together. My dad quickly refused. I'm busy today. I just had a quick bite for lunch. I don't have time to eat with you guys. You and Mom go ahead and eat. Have a good time. After saying that, he seemed to think of something and asked a few more questions about where we were planning to eat. I casually suggested a place far from where he was. My mom calmed down and tried to ask a few more questions before hanging up. Your dad didn't say a single honest word. Mom, let's go eat. Then we'll go shopping. I pulled my mom along. She tapped me on the head hard and said, your dad is clearly up to something. You ungrateful child. I covered my head and ran away. After a while, my mom's mood eased slightly. Mom, maybe Dad has something he can't talk about with you. Go check it out discreetly. If you find out anything, you can be upset later. Let's go eat first, then go shopping. No matter what happens, your daughter will be with you. Stop being so sappy. Don't worry, your mom is a knockout. I want to try the chef's special dish. My mom drove me for half an hour to the upscale restaurant that our family often went to. I'm sorry, ma'am, but the private room you requested is already in use. My mom and I heard the polite response from the front desk and looked at each other. My dad loved this restaurant so much that he had the manager reserve a private room for us year-round. However, my mom and I didn't like it much, so we rarely came here. As my mom's face darkened and she was about to rush inside, I quickly pulled her back. Mom, calm down. Everything needs evidence. Let's check the surveillance footage first and gather some evidence. If we end up getting divorced, we can't go into this unprepared. My mother shot me a disdainful glance. What can you do with your timid nature? Don't worry, your mother knows what she's doing. This isn't a rash decision. With that, she pulled me aside and walked back inside with a composed expression. There must be a smaller, private room, right? I'll take another one. Also, our family often reserves this private room. I think my husband must have invited some friends over for dinner. I'll go over and say hello later. The front desk clerk's expression became strange, but he eventually gave us another private room. My mother ordered food and a bottle of wine before heading to the private room where my father was. I turned on the video recording function on my phone and followed them. When the door opened, I saw a woman leaning close to my father and whispering to him. Chloe Miller stood with her back to us, serving food to the two of them continuously. Dad, thank you and Mom for giving me life. And thank you both for coming to celebrate my birthday with me. I'm so happy. My father looked up and saw us. His face filled with panic. He suddenly stood up, took a few steps back to move away from the woman, and hurried toward the door. Wife, how did you two come here? My mom's face was filled with mocking laughter. Not come? How else would I know your daughter is already this big? I'm happy today, too. It turns out my husband had a big daughter on the side. Wife, let me explain. My dad stepped forward to grab my mom's hand. She shook him off and walked over to the table on her own. There's quite a lot of food on the table. It must be expensive, right? Using our family's money to support a mistress and an illegitimate daughter must be pretty nice, huh? Wife, don't make a scene. Chloe and her mother, Brenda, have had a tough time these past few years. I've helped them out occasionally, and they're grateful, so they call me Dad. He couldn't finish his lie and stopped. I snorted. But before, when she was with me and my mom, why didn't she call you Dad? Why did she call you Uncle? My dad suddenly turned around and glared at me. This is between adults. What do you, a child, have to say? My mom slapped my dad across the face several times and said, Howard Miller, you have some nerve. You do shameful things, and you dare to yell at your daughter? Pitiful, huh? You're not her biological father, are you? Fine, let's go get a paternity test right now and let science speak. Brenda finally snapped out of it and looked wary as she walked over to my dad. Sister, just talk. Why are you getting physical? She reached out to check the bruises on his face. My dad turned his head away, and her hand froze in midair. Spit. Who's your sister? Put away that disgusting expression. My mother only gave birth to me. Are you the mother of my father's illegitimate daughter from outside? Brenda's face darkened. Chloe started crying. Dad, just be honest with them. I am your daughter. My mother is your beloved. You've worked so hard for them all these years. Yet I can't even take your surname. We can't even show our faces in public. I've had enough of this life. From childhood until now, I've never been able to call you Dad in public. Do you know how much I envy classmates who can spend weekends with their dads? Every birthday, I could only celebrate with you in secret. Do you know how badly I want to post on Instagram like everyone else? I don't want to be Livy's friend. Because of you, I've endured the discomfort of flattering and catering to her. But Dad, I'm your daughter too. Wah. My dad froze. Brenda scolded Chloe beside me. What nonsense are you talking about? Then, in a low voice, she apologized to my mom, saying, Sister, the child misses her father so much. After her father and I divorced, he refused to see her. All these years, it's been thanks to Howard for taking such good care of us. We didn't want you to be unhappy, so we kept it from you. It wasn't intentional. Sister, don't misunderstand Howard. Don't let our family fall apart because of me. I'm just an unfortunate outsider. If you don't want me here, I'll take my daughter and leave immediately. I'll never bother Howard again. I just want the two of you to be happy. As she said this, Brenda choked up and glanced at my father. I could see the emotion in his eyes. That's right, my father said. I've been with Brenda for over 20 years. She's my first love. And Chloe is my daughter. My mother sneered. Divorce. You'll leave with nothing. My father's eyes turned red. You heartless woman. I've worked like a dog for the Juan family all these years. And now you want a divorce over this? You want me to leave with nothing? You think you're so great? But don't get too cocky. I'm the one running the company now. Who knows who'll end up with nothing? Seeing that my mom wasn't responding, my dad softened his tone. Honey, I just made a mistake that every man in the world has made. Forgive me this once. I'll give Brenda some money, and I'll never see her or Chloe again. Is that okay? You haven't touched the company's affairs in years. If I leave, the company will be in chaos. Brenda, who was crying beside her, said tearfully, It's all my fault. It's my fault. Sister, punish me instead. You and Howard must stay together. I'll only feel at ease then. I'll kneel before you and admit my mistake. Okay? Disgusted, I grabbed the plate on the table and smashed it onto Brenda's head, saying, Do you really think you're a plate of food? Brenda let out a piercing scream. My father's slap was about to land on my face, but I turned my head slightly and it hit my shoulder instead. My mother went crazy, grabbing the bowls and plates on the table and throwing them at my father. Howard Miller, you're not satisfied with bullying me. Now you want to bully my daughter? I'll fight you to the death. My dad was beaten to a pulp, but he still protected Brenda. Chloe ran over to protect her mom, but I kicked and slapped her repeatedly. The room was in chaos until a waiter burst in screaming, and everyone stopped. My mom pulled me away, ready to leave. We still need to eat, especially since we ordered so much food. I ate quickly, forcing food onto my mother's plate. Her eyes were still red. I sighed and said, Mom, I had a dream. My mother was confused. I recounted everything from my past life, including what happened after I died. Finally, choking back tears, I said, Mom, this dream is terrifying when I think about it. If I hadn't been too ashamed to refuse yesterday or had listened to Chloe and rented that house and lived there for a long time, I definitely would have gotten sick. Then everything that happened afterward would have matched the dream perfectly. In the dream, I also knew that my father often brought Chloe and her mother here to eat. Today is Chloe's birthday, so I thought I'd come by and try my luck. To my surprise, my mother suddenly embraced me tightly, her voice trembling with tears. Livy, my child, you've suffered so much. Mom is here. Those words made me cry, and the anxiety that had been hanging in the air suddenly lifted. I clung to her, whining, Mom, you're being silly. It was just a dream. What's there to suffer? This seemed to lift my mother's mood. The two of us turned our grief into appetite and ate until we were full. Mom, what are you planning to do next? My mother narrowed her eyes. Divorce. The company shares are all in our names. Your father only has 3%. Even if he teams up with the other shareholders, it won't matter. I'll immediately gather evidence of his infidelity. If he tries anything, we'll just file for divorce. Anyway, I'm with you. If you don't want me, are you going back to that beast of a man? After that, my mom got busy. My dad came back once, sobbing and begging her, but after she kicked him out, he didn't come back. He started openly dating his mistress. My mom didn't react at all. That night, I uploaded the video from the restaurant to a new social media account that I had just created. Since the account had few followers, the number of views was pitifully low, but I didn't care. At the same time, I anonymously sent the video to Chloe's fiancé, Ethan Vanderbilt Jr., who had been the object of Chloe's infatuation for a long time. In the past, she would often drag me along and coincidentally run into him. Ethan and I were high school classmates, but we weren't close. I knew him because of her. Later, Chloe came straight to me, confessed her feelings for Ethan, and asked me to help her come up with a plan to pursue him. At the time, I was a stubborn fool, and as her best friend, I gave it my all. By now, Ethan should have agreed to date her. Was she just trying to use me to climb into a wealthy family and become a wealthy wife? Well, I'll cut off that possibility for her first. Sure enough, not long after, Ethan replied with a question mark. I didn't respond. I blocked him instead. After all, in my previous life, Ethan ended up marrying Chloe, my enemy, not my friend. On the third day, I saw the new video she posted on her influencer account. The incident at the restaurant had been heavily edited, including the part where she came to my house and knelt in front of me a few days earlier. It made it seem like my mom rushed in without hearing both sides and started hitting her and using harsh words. The caption read, "Does getting married mean you can't have friends anymore? We were just having a meal together. And this is the kind of malice and attack we have to endure?" Her fans are numerous, and the post quickly went viral. The comments were filled with messages of support for Chloe and insults directed at me as mom. "What a dirty-minded person, thinking only of filth. Look how pitiful Chloe is. Forced to kneel. Is this the true face of the wealthy? Disgusting." I looked into it. Their company isn't even a major corporation, just a mid-sized business. What's there to boast about? How dare they treat our Chloe like this? I'm going to curse her to death. Chloe tagged me in the comments. I ignored it, letting the situation escalate. Did they want to use public opinion to bury me and my mom? Too bad. I wanted the same. I smiled, waiting for this moment. Instead of bothering with Chloe, I logged out of the social media app. I had already taken a month off from work, so I didn't have to go in. My mom is handling my dad's affairs, so I'm happy to stay out of it. I changed clothes, put on makeup, and went shopping. I spent the last days of my previous life in hospitals and on hospital beds. That's when I realized how precious life is and how refreshing the air of freedom feels. By the time I finished shopping and returned home, it was evening. Chloe's video had gone viral, and the comment section was flooded with insults and accusations. People were arguing fiercely. The video on my secondary account was also flooded with comments, and I had over 99 private messages. My mom came home exhausted and clearly aware of the video. "Don't worry, I've already handled it. I've had someone gather evidence and restrict the video's reach." Mom, gathering evidence of her lies is fine, but please don't restrict her reach. I still need her. I showed my mom the full video that I had recorded that day. Wait until her video goes viral, and then I'll release it. Then everyone who's been attacking us will see how foolish they were. We need to watch her suffer the consequences. My mom smiled, ruffled my hair, and said, "You're so clever." I was worried there were no cameras in the private room, which is why I had someone limit the video's reach. I'll call Wang's assistant right away to let him know. That night, I slept soundly. The next day, Chloe's video went viral at an unprecedented level, spreading like wildfire across the internet. That night, I replied to Chloe's post where she had tagged me. I didn't say much. I just tagged my secondary account and left a message. "What's the truth? The public's eyes are sharp." Then, I logged out and turned off my phone. After a good night's sleep, I checked my phone the next day. Sure enough, my secondary account had gained hundreds of thousands of followers. There were comments and private messages galore, all at 99 plus. I skimmed through them briefly. Some said my video was edited. "It's obviously fake. Slandering our Chloe." Exactly. This blogger is disgusting for bullying others and spreading such rumors. However, such people were few and far between. Most people remained rational and quickly moved on to insulting Chloe. I went back to her account, and sure enough, it was filled with insults. The contempt that netizens had for me and my mother earlier had now been replaced with anger. I laughed. Karma was so satisfying, but it wasn't enough. Chloe came to my house and caused a scene on my doorstep. "Livy, you're so evil. You spread rumors that I'm an illegitimate child, and you went to my boyfriend to slander me. Because of you, he broke up with me. How could you be so malicious?" She was crying and holding her phone, either filming or live streaming. I politely invited her inside. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw that her phone screen was live streaming. How much courage does it take to do that? Does she have something else up her sleeve? As soon as she entered the house, she started pouring out her grievances and crying. She talked about how we met in elementary school and how she endured all kinds of hardships to please me. Yet, I never treated her as a friend, only as a servant. I gave her clothes to wear, skincare products to use, and bags I didn't want. She also called me the biggest liar and said that I always made her cover for me. Seeing that she wasn't giving me a chance to speak, I realized her intention, to cut me off before I could say anything and crush me once again. I calmly poured her a glass of water, then went back to my room, took out my parents' marriage certificate, opened it, and placed it on the coffee table in front of her. I also placed the evidence my mother had gathered over the past few months proving Brenda's affectionate relationship with my father on the coffee table. Chloe glanced at the documents and panicked. She didn't dare point her phone at the coffee table anymore. Instead, she shoved it toward my face. I smiled and snatched the phone from her hand. She tried to grab it back, but I coldly said, "If you act like this now, Your innocent victim act will be ruined. Chloe froze. I greeted the live stream audience on her phone. Hello, everyone. I won't say much now. I'll show you something. Then, I switched the camera to the marriage certificate and documents. Chloe reacted and tried to grab the phone again. Chloe Miller, you're live right now. Are you sure you want to grab it? The next moment, Chloe lunged forward again. I didn't make things difficult for her. That moment was enough. If it wasn't enough, I could always do more later. Chloe exited the live stream, screaming as she tried to attack me. Unfortunately for her, I'm quite strong. I took martial arts lessons for a few years as a child, so I easily overpowered her once again. After she left, I started my own live stream showing only my parents' marriage certificate and the documents proving my father's affair. At the same time, I posted a video uploading all the defamatory materials my mom had compiled about Chloe, along with the legal letters. This time, all of Chloe's antics were rendered meaningless. No one spoke up for her this time. Even some of her more radical fans, enraged by her repeated deceit, tracked down her address, went to her house, poured paint on it, and threatened her. I never expected Chloe to blame me for everything that went wrong. After she caused all that trouble, my mom didn't feel safe leaving me alone in the old house. She asked me to move in with her. She's been staying in a small apartment near her office lately and has been busy. I offered to help, but she refused, saying that I couldn't do anything to help. I stayed for a few days, intending to take care of her, but she ended up taking care of me instead and making herself even more tired. After a few days, I packed my things and returned to my rural hometown. She didn't object, saying it would be good for me to clear my head in the countryside for a while, and that she would come find me after she had sorted things out with my father. The village wasn't populated. Mostly elderly people and children lived there. Occasionally, a few young people would see me and immediately gather around to ask about the video. I felt helpless, so I stopped going out much after explaining for a while. One night, I was woken up by the heat. It was September, and the countryside wasn't that hot anymore. In fact, I had brought out the cotton blankets a few days earlier. When I opened my eyes drowsily, I was startled to see that the house was on fire and the flames had already spread. Fortunately, my room had been renovated with an attached bathroom. I grabbed a thin blanket, soaked it in water, wrapped it around myself, and covered myself with wet towels. Then, I opened the door and rushed out. However, the courtyard gate wouldn't open. It had clearly been locked from the outside. My heart sank. The fire wasn't just in the courtyard. It was also at the base of the outer wall. They were trying to burn me to death. I ran toward the backyard. If I remembered correctly, there was a dog hole at the base of the back wall. When we renovated the house, I made sure not to let my mom seal it up. Seeing that the dog hole was still there, I breathed a sigh of relief. As I crawled through it, I saw a dark figure flash by in the distance. Then, my neighbors noticed the fire and came to help put it out. I immediately called the police. When my grandparents got older, they wanted to move back to their hometown without my parents. My mother was worried, so she installed surveillance cameras around the yard. The cameras were connected to the internet, and my mother's phone was linked to them. I immediately called my mother. She came over that afternoon and helped the police review the surveillance footage. It was Chloe Miller. I had guessed correctly. My mother sent Chloe to prison for arson and defamation and sentenced her to 15 years. Upon hearing the news, Brenda Thompson went crazy and forced my father to save Chloe. Over the years, my father had embezzled a significant amount of money from the company, compared to my mother's businesses. However, it wasn't enough. According to his original plan, he intended to proceed cautiously, step by step, slowly disposing of my mother and me before reaping the benefits, just like in his previous life. Now that his plan had been disrupted and the transferred assets were insufficient, he was displeased. Brenda confronted him, and the two began to argue. My father simply ignored her. After she broke down, she went so far as to tamper with the brakes of my father's car. She intended for my father to die alone so that she could use his assets and her status as Chloe's illegitimate daughter to claim a share of the inheritance. However, on that day, my father suddenly insisted on taking her with him, saying they should go out to clear their heads. Brenda was afraid to get into the tampered car, so she said she had to go to the office and would drive her own car. My father didn't suspect anything. The two of them left in separate cars. However, my father took a wrong turn on a winding mountain road and tried to make a U-turn. The brakes failed, and his car crashed directly into Brenda's. They both died instantly. When my mother told me, I couldn't help but laugh cruelly. She got what she deserved. She said she had originally planned to end her relationship with my father and give him a portion of the property as compensation for his years of hard work. Now that this has happened, however, she's widowed and doesn't have to divorce him. It's actually better for him. She also said that when my father died, the police came immediately to investigate, suspecting that she had tampered with the car. After all the investigations, however, they ended up blaming Brenda. It's both hilarious and tragic. It makes you sigh. You reap what you sow. I hugged my mother's arm and squinted at the sunlight outside the window. Once we've gotten past this hurdle, the rest will be smooth sailing. How wonderful.